All right, guys, so we're going to learn how to use the Grit Lift Nutrition Calculator today. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to calculate our caloric needs. The step one is going to be calculating our basal metabolic rate and multiplying it by an activity factor. So you can see that the Mueller equation there is what we're using to calculate this today. And right below that are the definitions of the abbreviations in the equation. So lean body mass expressed in kilograms, fat mass expressed as a percentage, sex, male equals 1, female equals 0, age is expressed in years. And how we calculate our lean body mass is total weight in kilograms times our body fat percentage. That gives us body fat expressed in kilograms. And then the second step to that would be total body weight in kilograms minus our body fat in kilograms that we just calculated, which gives us our lean body mass expressed in kilograms. So to calculate your fat mass, there's a bunch of different ways that you can do that. You can get a DEXA scan done. You can do underwater methods if you're available, skin calipers, a lot of different gyms do that, bod pods on military bases. Most gyms have some kind of a BIA device that can measure your body fat as well. It's a device that's handheld and uses an electrical current, although that generally is fairly inaccurate because based on your water intake that can change. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but on average, men are between 12 and 16% body fat, and women are generally between 18 and 24. So you can guesstimate what you're at if you don't have any of the equipment needed to measure your body fat percentage, but I highly suggest getting that done somehow, some way eventually. And we're going to take those things and then multiply it by an activity factor. So we're going to take all this stuff I'm talking about right now, and we're going to plug it into this equation right here. You only need to adjust the things below where it says maintenance calories and the Mueller equation. So these guys right here. So I know, for example, that I weigh 203 pounds. Well, wait, that's only 200 and that's not kilograms, that's pounds. So what I do is I take my weight in pounds and I multiply that by how much lean body mass I think I have as a percentage. So for example, I think I'm at about 12% body fat. So that means 88% of me is lean body mass. So I take 203 times 0.88, and that gives me 178. So I know I'm 179 pounds of lean body mass. Now to get it to kilograms, I divide that by 2.2 because there's 2.2 kilograms in 1 pound. And that gives me about 81 kilograms, okay? 81.4, 81.2. So it actually will not let you change it to a decimal place in the kilogram section. So just take your rounded kilogram measurement. So if you are 81.3, then drop it to 81. If you're 81.6, go to 82, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that to 81 kilograms here. My body fat percentage, I said I guesstimated at 12. I am 26 years old and I'm a male, so that is 1, right? And then you take one of these activity factors and plug it in right here for whichever one best describes you. And that gives me about what my maintenance calories would be. So about 3,200 for my maintenance calories. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to decide what my calories are now for my goal. So I have my maintenance calories. I can either choose to maintain or cut or bulking, you can see down here. So for example, if I want to cut, if I wanted to conservatively cut, I would subtract 450 calories from my maintenance per day, or an aggressive cut would be 850 calories per day. And anywhere in between, the further you get to the aggressive, it's more aggressive. Obviously, the further from that you get is the conservative. So I say 3,200 calories, I'm going to be conservative. So that means I'm putting in 450, and my daily calories would be about 2,750. Okay. Now, If I wanted to bulk instead, I could go down here. And for new lifters, you guys can get away with having 300 to 500 calories above your maintenance and still gain a good amount of muscle mass, but you'll also minimize fat, the amount of fat that you will put on, because as new lifters, you're just able to adapt better and quicker to new stimuluses. So for an experienced lifter who's been doing this a long time, it's been shown in studies that 200 to 300 calories can maximize the amount of muscle gained and minimize the amount of fat that you put on. So for me, I know that my maintenance calories are at 3,200 calories. So I go ahead and plug that in, and I'm a fairly more experienced lifter now. I've been going on this about 7 years, so I put in 250 calories per day. And now I know I should be eating about 3,450 calories a day, which is almost pretty spot on. I eat about 3,500 calories a day right now. So remember, these calculations are meant to get you in the ballpark of where you should be. Based on your progress, you'll have to jump up or down in calories. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to calculate macronutrients. So we'll just say I'm going to go ahead and do this cutting phase, this bulking phase of 3,450 calories. So I know my lean body mass in kilograms is about 81 kilograms. And so I'm going to take that, and I'm between 0 and 30 years old, so I put 2.4 kilograms per kilogram of lean body mass. So 195 grams of protein is what I should be eating per day. Okay, now for fats, it's recommended to have between 20 and 35% of your calories come from fats. So I like to be on the smaller side of that. So I say my daily calories is 3,450. Multiply that by 0.2, which is 20%, and that gives me 77 grams per day. You don't need to change anything below where it says 77 grams per day. If you wanted to go 0.3, then you could do that, and that would give you more fats per day. But I like to have more carbs, so I adjust that to 20%. Okay, that comes to calculating carbohydrates. So we're going to adjust again the daily calorie recommendation to 3,450. And then we're also going to plug in what my protein was, which was 195 grams per day. And then we're going to do the same thing with fat. We're going to take the 77 grams. And you don't need to change anything below where it says carbohydrates, and it plugs in the number and gives you the 494 grams. Don't change anything below that. That just tells you how much you should be eating per day for carbs. So 494 grams per day. All right, now we have all three of these macronutrients. You can track stuff like this in a lot of different apps. MyFitnessPal is the one that I use just because there's a free option, and I've been using it for years, and it's what I'm comfortable with. But there's a lot of different ones that you can use out there. Even ones that you can pay for and will calculate your nutrition for you, like Carbon Diet Coach is what it's called. But what you can do is now you can go over to the Grit Lift section and look at the nutrition plans. I'm going to click the bulking plan, and I'm going to choose something based on what I just calculated. So for example, my calories were 3,450 per day. We should be, when you choose a nutrition plan, you should be somewhere between 100 to 150 calories away from where you calculated, okay? Because remember, those calculations get you in the ballpark of where you're supposed to be. So I look at this, I see, okay, there's a bulking plan for 3,400 calories. The protein's 213. My protein was 195. So that's about 18 grams more, 15 grams more than I calculated for myself. But the one from that is 200 grams of protein, but it's also, about 250 calories off from where I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and run with the 3,400 calorie bulking plan, and you can download that straight onto your device.